So today we're going to talk about, hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about Texas aquatic ecosystems. This is the first set of notes for Unit 5, looking at aquatic ecology, and then starting to introduce oceanography as we move from our freshwater ecosystems that we've been talking about out to the ocean and all of our saltwater or marine habitats and ecosystems, which make up a much larger proportion of all aquatic ecosystems on our planet. So far this year, we've already talked about aquifers and springs. The spring is where water is going to first come up from the aquifer, the groundwater, to be part of the fresh water, to be part of the surface water on top. So this is going to be a fresh water. Our springs often form the headwaters or the beginning of streams and rivers. So streams and rivers are going to be our flowing water. So here we have an image of the Guadalupe River. It starts off as a spring out west of Kerrville, which is to the northwest of us. And they're ever moving, and all streams and rivers flow towards the ocean. They all end up there. Water gets replaced in the spring through precipitation, through rainfall. But all rivers, all streams, they all eventually end up in the ocean. Some take a roundabout way of getting there, but that's where we're going. So in the case of the Guadalupe River, and many rivers in Texas have dams on them to create lakes. Lakes and ponds are standing, not flowing bodies of water. So in the case of Texas, many of our lakes have dams created to create a lake called a reservoir used to store water for drinking water. So this is a picture of Canyon Lake. Canyon Lake was formed by damming up the Guadalupe River. There is a small outlet down at the bottom of the dam, and it's right here in the image, where the Guadalupe River and the water in it does get to continue flowing towards the Gulf of Mexico. Now there is much less water flowing than would otherwise naturally be there. Eventually that river, so in the case of Guadalupe River, they eventually meet the ocean. Where they meet is called an estuary. So here's the estuary, where both the San Antonio River and the Guadalupe River come together and meet. So the estuary is going to be filled up with wetlands, very boggy, muddy areas, and then they'll also dump out into lakes. So where they mix here, we call this brackish water. That's a mixing of fresh water and the ocean salt water. And the fact that the ocean is salty or has a higher salinity is one of the major characteristics of our oceans. And in our next set of notes, we're going to talk about salinity. When it's not salty enough to be ocean water, but not fresh enough to be true fresh water in the river, we call it brackish. And so this estuary is full of brackish water. Many times estuaries are associated with bays. These are areas that are partially enclosed by land, but will open up into the ocean. So here we have Hines Bay, which is really more brackish water. Opens up into San Antonio Bay, and then San Antonio Bay would opens into the Gulf of Mexico. So in Texas, our closest major body of saltwater is the Gulf of Mexico, and it opens up into the Atlantic Ocean. So the Gulf of Mexico is the 9th largest body in the world. It's very much a wide rim bowl with our opening here, so going out to the Atlantic and then the Caribbean Sea, and the Caribbean Sea does join with the Atlantic as well. And we can see here in this picture that even under the water, there's lots of terrain and shapes and features. And that's another thing that we will be talking about. With this unit, we'll look at all of these ridges and slopes and abyssal plains to learn about how those impact the ocean environment.